Cowboys Pregame Live is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by SWBC Mortgage. Customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com.
Week 16 of the NFL season is upon us. The Dallas Cowboys getting ready for their final game at AT&T Stadium in the 2025 season as they welcome in the red-hot Los Angeles Chargers, fresh off a 3-game win streak. The Cowboys looking to get back on track after 2 straight losses against the Lions and the Vikings, and they conclude their AFC schedule in this one as well. Alongside Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback, a couple of former Cowboys, inside the Globe Live studio. I'm Kyle Yeoman. So glad you're with us. Gentlemen, the show must go on. Cowboys Pregame Live must go on, and we're happy that you are here with us because the Cowboys have been eliminated from playoff contention. Yesterday's Philadelphia Eagles win over the Washington Commanders finally put the nail in the coffin. The Cowboys' playoff hopes are now over, and the focus now turns to the 2026 season. But before we get to that, and before we talk about the ramifications of that, Isaiah, what are some of the things you're going to remember about this Cowboys season? Let's fill in the blank here. This 2025 Cowboys season is
disappointment. It's the difference of disappointment. And in order to be disappointed, that means that your expectations were not met. And I think the expectations for myself were that the Dallas Cowboys would at least get into a wild card position in this first year of Coach Schottenheimer, understanding that he is trying to get established. He's trying to instill a culture of winning. However, there is still so much talent on this team. And in this particular division, I felt as if they had a real opportunity to progress to the playoffs. And unfortunately, that just was not the case.
For me, I'm not disappointed. I think it was a decent year. Coach Schottenheimer is trying to put a culture in place. He is a first-year coach. This is his first time. We had problems with our defense. We did not know that our defense would be ranked last. So that put Eberflus on the hot seat. That put even the head coach on the hot seat to the point where he started going into the defensive coordinators meetings. So this is just a building process. It's going to be ugly, but you fans stay with old Big Newton. I'm going to ride you through.
So, Big Newton, what is your word? The Cowboys season has been blank. What would you say the word would be?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So it's okay.
That's fair.
I mean, because all we want as fans is to win. I'm a fan first.
Yeah.
Been one since I was 11 years old.
Sure.
So I want to win, but I understand on how to build a football team.
Yeah.
And over the past few years, we have 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. Okay, we had a bad season last year. We got a new coach. It's some growing pains. You're going to have to deal with it.
And that's a great way to put it because I think going into the season, the expectation was, yeah, you're going to have some key players, but are you good enough to win the division? I don't think everybody was out here saying the Cowboys were going to overtake the Eagles for the division. That's how you ultimately would end up being in the playoffs. You guys both mentioned the defense and the lack of production on the defensive side of the ball. Is this something that can be fixed moving forward or even over these final 3 games to at least give momentum for the Cowboys defense going into 2026?
It definitely can be fixed. It's not going to be fixed over these next 3 games. But I think going into the offseason, you have a clear understanding as the adjustments that need to be made. Obviously, you have to take a hard look at your defensive coordinator and find out if that scheme that he is facilitating is actually working for your guys. Does it fit the personnel that you actually have? I think you made some huge strides, obviously, at the defensive line position. Linebackers was literally of musical chairs this year. You acquired 3 guys via trade. That necessarily didn't work out for you. And then you have a secondary where availability has been your biggest issue. So I think that those are all areas that you have to look at and find with a fine-tooth comb and figure out exactly what needs to be addressed this offseason. But something has to change.
D-line, I think, is already there, and I'm talking about the interior. Go out and get you an extra guy.
Yep.
We just need depth there. I think we already taken care of the linebackers. Go out and get a veteran guy that's young and that can cover and a willing tackler and a great communicator. Secondary-wise, you have to give these young guys a chance. We don't have nobody but Bland. We don't know what's going to happen with our other guy, Diggs. So we had young guys and guys that were just starting to play ball. They're not used to this league. Once again, growing pains. Secondary need help.
And Bland is going in for his second surgery on the same foot. So
yes.
Do we have Bland?
Yes. Wow.
Going into next year, you still have that as a huge question for this Cowboys team. When we come back, we're going to answer some of those questions, including who's available for the Cowboys in Week 16. Could they possibly be sitting some of their starters? We'll check in with Nick Eatman on the sidelines as the Cowboys get ready to face the Chargers.
defensive coordinator? Was it the same throughout your time?
Yeah, so I had a change after my third year, or actually after my second year, I believe. I had a couple changes, and then we had a whole new staff going into my senior year. So,
what can be the pros and cons of that? I know, I think a lot of the thinking is continuity is very valuable to have year after year stacked with the same coordinator.
I think the players is what makes it run, and what makes whatever scheme you're in go. So it's not really much for me to say about that, because it's players, not necessarily plays. So we just have to do our job and continue to execute, for sure.
Obviously, you want the playoff thing to still be there in the picture, but
of course,
hypothetically, if it's not, are you the kind of guy that you find other ways to motivate yourself, take pride in, for example, not wanting to have a losing record or something?
For sure, 1,000%. That's something I'd say. We take pride in winning, and we want to win ball games. So, whatever the case may be with the playoffs and the percentages or whatever, we just want to finish out this season strong and win the rest of our 3 games.
What do you see from the Chargers? I know Herbert's had the banged-up hand, hasn't seemed to really affect him. What's the challenge there?
Definitely a challenge because of his throwing ability and his running ability, his scramble ability, and obviously they have a pretty decent running back and some solid receivers. So we're gonna have to just do our job, execute the calls. And get him on the ground and hit him as early as possible.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Of course, it is the holiday season, and some Cowboys fans getting in the Christmas spirit. How about this Dallas Cowboys house on display? It is incredible, from lifelike figurines to all the blue and silver lights. This is incredible stuff, and of course, the Cowboys will play on Christmas coming up on Thursday. Back here inside the Globe Life studios, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Let's check in with Nick Eatman out on the sidelines at AT&T Stadium. Nick, lots of questions from Cowboys Nation right now about the status of the starters. The Cowboys officially eliminated from playoff contention with the Philadelphia Eagles win yesterday. What have you been hearing about the status of those starters going into this matchup with Los Angeles?
Oh, they're playing, Kyle. They're playing. I mean, this 17-game NFL season, they're going to be out there and they're going to play. For how long? I don't know. Well, that's the big question there. I mean, you had to prepare all week long, and so usually when that happens, you're not going to see a huge change there to start the game. Quentin Williams is one that's not going to play. He was kind of banged up anyways, questionable. But we'll see how long the game goes on and also what happens during the game. I think it's one of those, if a guy's banged up and they announce he's questionable to return, he's out. I mean, it'll be one of those type of things.
I like hearing that because, of course, you want to keep the consistent message across the board, but also keep guys out of harm's way, ensuring that they have a full offseason ahead of them. Let's talk about George Pickens, a guy that we don't know what his status will be going into next year with this Cowboys team. He's been down the last couple of days, hasn't had the same type of impact in the last 2 games as he had previously this season. Do you expect any sort of bounce-back performance from Pickens today?
I mean, I would hope so, but I would also put that on the coaches as well. Pickens is the type of guy, to me, and Dak has said it all year long. If he's one-on-one, he's open. If he can throw the ball up to him, he's open. So I don't think that they're taking enough shots down the field with him. Yeah, the safety's rolling that way. We've seen this guy jump over 2 guys before to make plays. That's the type of guy. That's the type of player he is, and that's what I think that they need to kind of get him going. When he plays like that, he's as good as anybody in the league.
Yeah, and he certainly is going to wait for that contract at the end of the year. Right. It's going to be an interesting conversation all offseason long. Now, speaking of coaches making adjustments, Matt Eberflus, Cowboys defensive coordinator, not going to call the game from the sideline today. He's going to call it from the booth. What type of difference does that make, Nick, and what can we expect out of that change being made?
Well, he'll see all 11 guys. I mean, you can't see anything down here. It's great to talk to a player afterwards, but you obviously can't see as well. But that's kind of what you give up when you do that. I mean, that's one of those things where, you know, as a coach, do they want to be able to see everything and kind of see what the offense is trying to do? Or do you want to be able to kind of be down there and get the feel of the game and talk to the players and yell at them or high-five them or whatever? You know, it's probably a too little, too late type of thing. But you know, as far as moving things for next year, maybe this is something that Eberflus wanted or Shoddy wanted to see done from his defensive coordinator, whoever it might be.
One final time from the sidelines at AT&T Stadium this year. Nick Eatman joining us here on Cowboys Pregame Live. Nick, thanks so much. We will talk to you again next week. Now, plenty of opportunity here for the Cowboys to see how they stack up against one of the more physical teams in the National Football League. What makes the Chargers a contender in the AFC when we come back?
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Some people who could make the argument that last couple games, if you're not in the playoff hunt, to sit you given your health over the last few years. Do you want to play out the season regardless of playoff hopes or not?
Absolutely.
Why?
All the things I just listed about being a professional, this is my job. This is what I love to do. You know, sitting out last year and the times before, you don't take getting to play this game for granted. You play every game to win. You play every game to win to get a chance to go to, you know, playoffs and play in the Super Bowl. And unfortunately, that's not always the case. And if that's not the case when we take the field or whatever it may be, I'm thankful for the opportunity to play this game, and I'm not going to ever pass it up.
Can you build something to take into the offseason?
1,000%.
You can. Even if, you know, bottom line, not making playoffs is an ultimate failure, but can you build something how you finish?
Most definitely. It's all momentum. At the end of the day, you got guys that are coming back, and obviously there's a lot of changes that have to happen or whatever it is with the roster, right? Some things got to be addressed, I guess you can say. But, you know, a good bit of these guys will be back, and so it's about, finishing with a good taste in your mouth and something to look forward to into next year.
The Cowboys facing the Los Angeles Chargers today at noon, and they'll go up against Justin Herbert, looking to have those top 10 wins that they've had over the last 2 seasons and increase upon that. Plus, they've had some success against their own division. First time they've swept the Kansas City Chiefs in their division since 2014. They're 5-0 across the board, and they are the 5 seed currently in the wild card, but still in the hunt to possibly be the 1 seed. They would need some help from Denver in that case to ultimately end up winning the division and ultimately being that number 1 seed. Back alongside Isaiah Stanback and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Nate, you were also scrolling on social media a little bit this week and saw something you liked about the Chargers.
You know what? I'm an old head, and I was out there just searching, man, and I lucked up on this right here. Since 1998.
Okay.
Let me make sure. 1998. There's only been 3 quarterbacks that have represented the AFC in the Super Bowl. So this is the first year that we will be without Peyton Manning, Patrick Holmes, or the great Tom Brady. Who will that guy be? Will it be Justin Herbert? Will it be Lamar Jackson coming out of nowhere? Or will it be Josh Allen? Who will it be?
It's going to be somebody new.
Yes, it is.
Somebody new.
So, I mean, that's all I got, man.
I think you could probably throw you could probably throw Josh Allen on the end of that and just keep it going as time goes on. Maybe Justin Herbert, depending on how long of a run they've had throughout. But, I mean, they've had 10 wins for a reason, Isaiah. You say they're one of the more physical teams the Cowboys will play all season long. What surprised you the most when you watched the film and turned it on this week?
Nothing surprises me about the Chargers. When you look at who their head coach is, they represent what he is all about on the field. So when you think about the Harbaughs are always what? Physical. When you think about the Harbaughs are always what? They always have big teams, right? So they always win the trenches. That is exactly what this team is. These guys do a great job in the trenches. Their second-level linebackers are absolutely physical. When you look at their secondary, these guys are going to hit you in your chest. Flipping onto the offense side of the ball, they just want to beat you up physically with the run game. And they have their quarterback. He's 6'6", too. So everybody that they have are gargantuans. They throw the ball up and let their guys go make plays, and they just want to literally physically impose their will.
Nate, give me a player to watch on this Chargers team that everybody at home has to keep an eye on.
Deion Henley, number 0.
Linebacker.
He's got 3.5 sacks. He's got 2 interceptions. The guy's a tackling machine. He's everywhere. Hey, he was drafted in 23, third round. So he's kind of like our agent 0, just a little bit. He's been fortunate to be healthy, though.
There you go. What do you think, Isaiah?
I like the gentleman named Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey right there. He's one of the best route runners in the league, in my opinion. Very underrated. I don't think he's undervalued on his team. They don't throw the ball around a bunch, but if you see him lined up out there, it's a mismatch nightmare because he likes to be in the slot. He is a route specialist.
Okay, you guys just pulled out 2 great names, but you did not mention Justin Herbert, Omarion Hampton, Keenan Allen, Derwin James, Khalil Mack. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, there are so many guys on this Chargers team. They are built the right way, and they have a coach in Jim Harbaugh that is very confident in their success moving forward. When we come back here on Cowboys Pregame Live, Cooper Beebe has returned to the starting lineup and continues to grow into his role as a leader on this Cowboys offensive line. We hear from the Cowboys center next.
Has there anything the last couple of weeks been consistently what you've seen that's kind of led to your production not being what it was earlier?
Oh, yeah, just double coverage. Surely that simple. Just double coverage. Like I said, offensively, all we can do is just try to execute at a high level, depending on, no matter what that is.
Later in the season, doesn't come across as a disrespectful question, but it seems obvious when you guys are talking about your slant routes. If they take away the slant route, you get the go ball. Do you think you guys inadvertently gave them the secret sauce? I know that sounds ridiculous, but now they seem to really be focusing on some of those things.
Nah, not really. Like
stand out in film, in other words.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what I was gonna say. They probably definitely just watched film over the last 4 or 5 games, how many games that was. But definitely not that, just because those coverages been in the game for a while. You know what I mean? Just double covering a few receivers, Randy, a lot of great receivers over their time.
How are they double covering you differently?
Just keeping a guy inside and keeping a guy outside, or keeping a guy over the top and having a guy underneath just on one side of the field, which is mainly, like I said, a huge product of CDs going crazy, flows going crazy, which is super proud of them guys.
You still get
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Well, Kyle, we know that offensive line play is built on timing, trust, consistency, and that's been the biggest challenge for Cooper Beebe and this Cowboys front 5 all season long. Through the first 6 weeks of the year, injuries kept this front 5 from truly ever settling in, and then when they finally started to stabilize some things, another setback, losing their starting left tackle in Tyler Guyton. And for Cooper Beebe, it kept reinforcing one truth, that consistency, fundamentals, and execution matters more than anything.
It takes a while, and I think that's something you build, just through training camp, really. And I thought we did a good job of mixing dudes in at training camp, because, at the end of the day, you can't predict injuries. It's always going to happen. It's the NFL, and, I thought we did a good job. But when Book comes in, he's starting right guard. Okay, last year, I had Zach. Zach and Tyler are 2 different people, different blocks, different way they go about stuff, and just you got to learn that, and he's got to learn you, and I have to trust that Book knows what he's doing, so I don't have to try to do 2 things at once. And when I know he knows what he's doing, I know what Tyler's doing, at the end of the day, we can just go to play football.
You mentioned, the amount of hits that, Dak Prescott has taken. Obviously against Minnesota, faced the highest pressure rate, that he's faced since 2022. How have you guys kind of taken accountability of that, and what's kind of the emphasis of making sure you guys tighten that up in the next couple of weeks?
We understand that, in order for us to have a successful offense, we need to run the ball and we got to keep Ford clean. And, when we look back and watch the film, really it comes down to technique and fundamentals. And that's really kind of been our, motto per se for this week is you got to get back. It gets later in the year and that's the fundamentals is what kind of slips on you. And that's something that we've been focusing on this week is we got to get back to that.
Kyle, Cooper told me one thing as well pregame, that even though that this matchup and playoffs are out of the picture, that this offensive line is still evolving. And so all this matters against the Chargers is not for now, it's for what's next.
Thank you very much, Nicole. And yes, this offensive line is continuing to evolve. Nate, how do you want to see them take steps in the right direction up front in order to build toward 2026?
It's something we can't control. It's called health. If they can get healthy and play as a unit and all get on one page, it's good to have multiple guys that can fit in. But the teams that are having success are the healthy teams. This offense line need to be healthy and a little bit more agile.
How have these teams been attacking the offensive front just from a schematic standpoint? Because it's not just the health that's affecting Tyler Smith and Tyler Guyton. I mean, it's the other guys that are struggling to avoid the pressures, 20-plus over the last 2 weeks.
It's the teams that come up and give us multiple looks, the five-man looks, the six-man looks, the seven-man, and people dropping out zone blitzing. And that comes back to you have to play together to understand all these looks and have like I say, Zaya, he's out of here, and you know what's happening.
Yeah, I think the chemistry and the communication, those are the things that Nate's referring to right now. I'm never gonna go against the big dog on the front here. I mean, no, seriously. I mean, the more you play together, and we talk about the availability and the health of guys, right? The more you play together, the better your chemistry is. So when you're talking about, hey, being able to have this nonverbal communication and this understanding, when what I'm seeing is I know for the same thing that Nate is seeing.
Yes.
That is nonverbal communication. That is chemistry. You can't reproduce that without reps. So that is a relationship thing, and you have to have all those guys playing in unison in order for that to take place.
Busy week here at AT&T Stadium. What a shout out, my guy, Isaiah Stanback. Called 4 high school championship games from out there in Arlington. Got a little extra coffee in him this morning to be here for Cowboys pregame live. Of course, the Cowboys have some guys that are inactive in this one. Trayvon Diggs is back in the fold for Dallas. We'll talk about his impact, plus who could be out for the Cowboys as they welcome in the fans at AT&T Stadium for the final time this year.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV.
Is there something to be said for maybe what about the process do you feel like needs to change after, J.J. McCarthy had his best game of his career against you guys last week?
I mean, you still gotta. I mean, nothing really changes. You still gotta come in and come in with the right mindset, ready to work, and to get better. I mean, that's all you can do at the end of the day. And I think just as leaders, the team. And all the older guys, that's what we've been preaching is, don't nothing change. We got to keep the standard in the process the same.
What strikes you when you look at Herbert and the challenge he presents and the physical run game?
Yeah, I mean, they've been running the ball really well all year. And, I mean, Herbert, he's, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It's hard to bring him down. Big quarterback. So we definitely got to get some hits on him and, get in his face, get our hands up because he could throw from every arm angle. And can run.
How much awareness is there among you and the defensive players that Jerry on his radio show yesterday said he's evaluating Matt Eberflus and the defensive staff, and their return depends to some degree on how you guys finish out these next 3 games?
Yeah, I mean, that's not none of my concern. I mean, my concern is just, helping this team win and, just, sticking to my process and sticking to my standard.
Cowboys Pregame Live was brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by SWBC Mortgage. Customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com.
Let's take a look at the Cowboys' inactive list here in Week 16 against the Chargers. Some notable names on there. No Jalen Tolbert, even in a day where the Cowboys might rest some of their starters. Tolbert is inactive. That is something to put an asterisk on. Kalen Carson, who's been in and out of the lineup due to injury throughout the season as well. He is out as Trayvon Diggs is made active again. No DaRon Bland. Of course, he's being placed on IR this week with a foot injury. At the moment, it appears surgery is necessary. Quinnen Williams, Tyler Guyton, a couple other starters not available for the Cowboys in this one. Wrapping up on the television portion of Cowboys Pregame Live with Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback. One of the big storylines this week has been Trayvon Diggs and his return to practice for the Cowboys. There were even questions out there about whether he would ever play again for the Cowboys. Well, here's your answer. He will. What do you expect out of him this week after actually getting some glowing reviews from his coaching staff to the media this week?
You know, I don't have any expectations, Kyle, to be honest with you, for Trayvon Diggs. I think when it comes down to Trayvon Diggs, it is a decision whether or not he wants to or doesn't want to play ball. That's really just my opinion. I think that he is one of those guys that can absolutely ball out when he's locked in, but if he turns the light off, he doesn't want any part of it.
Yeah.
And that is not what you're trying to have around here. And so, Trayvon, make up your mind, baby. I mean, you're a great athlete. You know the game. You understand it. Hey, you either want to play for the Dallas Cowboys or you don't.
You either want to or you don't this week. I will give him credit, and the coaches have given him credit as well. They said it's a 180 turnaround from what it was previously to be ready for this game this week. You can take that however you want, but at least there's been positive news on the Trayvon Diggs bump going into this game as well. All right, bold predictions today, gentlemen. What do you think is going to happen in this one, Isaiah?
I think Dallas has a rough day. I think they struggle with teams that are very physically imposing, and this is just yet another one of those teams that's just bigger than you, they're more physical than you, and Harbaugh's not going to stop.
Bold prediction. Cowboys go out and play your hearts out. That's all I could ask for.
That's super bold.
No, it just, hey, it's over, bro.
Yeah.
The season is over.
Don't say that. We still got to have people tune in.
For the
people
fans.
got to tune in to Cowboys Pregame Live.
For the fans. I mean, stay with me. I'm going to ride you through this, but it's over.
My bold prediction, Trayvon Diggs gets an interception.
Oh,
okay.
Let's get real bold to end the television. Wow. Now, we do have more coverage coming your way. Don't listen to Nate. Come join us here on the DallasCowboys.com side of things. We've got a couple more minutes of coverage here from the Star in Frisco. Thanks for joining us. Cowboys, Chargers getting started at noon on Fox. Cowboys taking the field prior to their Week 16 matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers. And in contrary to what Nate Newton's saying, I see players out on the field. That means the season's not over with yet, Nate.
It's not. It's not. I'm so happy that it's not. I really am. We need to see some of these young guys play, Kyle.
In the media game, I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. In the media game, you're not supposed to tell everybody to just go ahead and give up. Season's over with. But guess what? You're still here, so we know you're really a talking Cowboys, or excuse me, a Cowboys fan all the way through.
You see your heart set, Kyle. There you go.
Yeah,
baby.
you know.
Yeah.
Hey, our podcast is still going after this season's over with. I think Nate's done this week. So, all right, back with Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeoman. So glad you're with us on Cowboys Pregame Live. Speaking of guys that you want to see more from, George Pickens is probably at the top of that list. A guy that has over 1,200 yards receiving here in the 2025 season, but the last 2 weeks hasn't had the same level of production. How do you get him the ball in games like this where you may not have your quarterback for very long? Who knows what CeeDee Lamb's future is going to be over these final 3 games, but he's a guy that you kind of want to see step up as a leader going into some contract decisions.
Over the last few weeks, teams have been double-teaming George Pickens, and the easiest way to double-team a dominant receiver is by allowing that receiver to simply just walk out there from the huddle and line up on the outside. It's the easiest thing to do. You can identify where he's at. You can roll your corner up, roll the safety over the top. So what you have to do is you have to put him in motion. You got to move him around. You got to motion him. You have to shift him. You have to make it challenging for the defense to not only identify where he's at, but also be able to adjust their defense based upon where he's at, right? So if he's in the slot, you can't run the same coverages. If he's in motion, you have to back up and give him some space. So you can't allow him to just become a statue on the outside of the hash marks. Coach Schottenheimer has to get more creative in order to get him the ball.
My question is he that type of guy? We know CD can move all over the place. Is he that type of guy?
If you don't know, you need to find out today.
Right.
And I think he's shown that before. He hasn't needed to go inside and out unless CeeDee Lamb's not available. So now that CeeDee Lamb could possibly sit out for a good chunk of this game, do you anticipate him fluctuating between the slot and the boundary?
I think you have to. I mean, obviously George Pickens is playing for a contract right now, but also aside from that, from your team's perspective, you need to see productivity. And it would be a shame if you just allow teams to go out there and just double team him simply because of the fact that you're unwilling to change where you line him up at. So I think that George Pickens I don't think he's going into the meeting room saying, Coach, I only want to be on the outside. I think you just have to put him in a better position to go out there and score.
And, of course, he's seen a lot of those double teams, that shaded coverage over the top, a lot of that over the last 2 weeks, but only 15 targets coming from Dak Prescott. Let's take a look at what some of these quarterbacks have done throughout the year, starting with Dak. Of course, he's been great down the field, especially down the left side of the field, where a lot of the times George Pickens has been lined up this season. His passer rating to the left of the hash marks and deep down the field has been tremendous. That's a big element that George Pickens has brought to the table. As for Justin Herbert, quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers, he's been great down the field as well. Has some weapons, Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen to throw the football to. Now he's got a running game in Marion Hampton that'll add to it along the way. And this is a team that's 10-4 that certainly has a shot at winning their division. They still need some help from the Broncos in front of them. If not, they'll be the wild card and be the 5 seed going on the road in round number 1. But a lot of people think this Chargers team can be a contender in the AFC. Now, the question now becomes from a lot of Cowboys fans, with the Cowboys eliminated from playoff contention, do you play your starters? I asked the question to Nick Eatman earlier in the show. I'm going to start with you, Nate. Should you play some of these guys even though the season at the moment is in the can and you don't necessarily have anything to play for in these final 3 games?
Your quarterback and your left guard for me. If you're going to take 2 guys out, starting the game, Dak and Smith, those 2 guys will need to be in there, and Quentin Williams. Everybody else, maybe CD, but those are my guys.
Starters, yes. Superstars, no. And that's just the way I see it. And I think Nate and I are on the same page in terms of that. Dak Prescott, sit. CeeDee Lamb, sit. Tyler Smith, sit. On defensive line, you just heard it from Nate. Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams, sit. And I know people are going to say, well, we're paying these guys a lot of money. You absolutely are. You're paying them a lot of money for the job that they do and the job that you hope that they're going to do. And my question would be for those that feel that way is, can you guarantee that these guys don't have a traumatic injury by playing them today? Can you guarantee that they're not going to get hurt?
No.
If the answer is no, sit them.
And that's the thing with me is because, and even especially when you're looking at your quarterback, you're looking at Dak Prescott. This is a guy that every time he has had a healthy offseason, he has come back stronger, and he has played better and at a higher level. And with the injuries that he has been accustomed to seeing over these last 5 to 6 years, you have to be weary of what could happen.
Yep.
You want to ensure that he has that offseason, because how big is that from a quarterback standpoint, whether or not you return George Pickens or whether or not you return Javonte Williams on your offensive side? As long as you have a healthy quarterback in the offseason, that's huge for Dak Prescott.
Yeah, very much so. We've seen Dak, unfortunately, have a couple years now where he's had some big-time injuries that he's had to overcome, where he's missed time during training camp trying to get his chemistry right. The last thing you want to see is Dak back in that situation, or anybody on your team, obviously, but there's certain players on your roster that if you're missing their presence, it is really difficult for you to go out there and have success. So everybody's important. Some guys are just more important than others.
I believe this right here with all my heart. If you don't have a quarterback you don't have a chance. And if Dak is healthy, the Cowboys will always have a chance.
Now, would you sit anybody on the defensive side? Let's take the guys that are banged up. DaRon Bland, of course, he's out. Quinnen Williams, concussion, he's out today as well. Would you make any move like that on the defensive side, or you relatively keep it the same?
Keep it the same. Like Isaiah said, stars, regular guys, play. You got a lot to prove. Superstars, guys that make these other guys good, boom.
So with that being said, today against the Chargers, how about trying to heat up Justin Herbert? This is a guy that has had struggles in front of him. His offensive line has not played well throughout the season. Number one most sacked quarterback, hit quarterback, and pressured quarterback in the National Football League. Do you feel like blitzing today from Matt Eberflus can help put pressure on a guy like Herbert?
I do. I think the fact that Coach Eberflus is going to be sitting up in the booth today, maybe he could see things a little bit differently. I know that when you turn on the film and watch Justin Herbert, he does not see pressure off the edge very well. I'm not sure what that is about him right now in his development, but you can light him up for sure and get him off his mark, make him uncomfortable, because he is one of the better passers in the league. He has a very strong arm. He's a very accurate quarterback. He has huge receivers that have crazy catch radiuses. So the last thing you want to do is allow him to sit back there comfortably to be able to deliver the rock.
If you do that, you got to make it. You got to get home. I think it scares Eberflus. If he don't get home early and often, he's going to get away from it. And then if you get away from it, this kid going to start running, moving around, and he's going to pick you apart.
And that's when your secondary is in distress with a guy like DaRon Bland out, Kalen Carson out. Your starting corners right now are Trayvon Diggs, Shavon Revel, and then on the inside, Reddy Stewart. Those are your guys.
And Reddy Stewart's truly a safety. He plays a nickelback position, but I think his real position is actually safety.
Probably should.
And then Shavon Revel is not healthy. I don't think he's 100%. He's healthy enough to play. He's not healthy enough in my eyes to be impactful. So you're out there really with Trayvon Diggs, who hasn't touched the field in a long time.
Let's see if we can get some insight on that possibly here over the next couple of minutes. Tommy Yarish is now joined by Cowboys COO Stephen Jones on the sidelines in Arlington.
All right, joined now by Cowboys COO and co-owner Stephen Jones. Stephen, thanks for making the time. Last home game of the season. I know this isn't where you want to be, eliminated from the playoffs. What goes into your mind and the organization's mind down the stretch of who plays, who doesn't play?
Well, there's none of that going on with our team right now. We want to go out and win every football game. Coach Schottenheimer and being his first year, we want to gain momentum. Not only finish strong. We got a chance to finish with a winning record. That'd be real important to this football team. And then, of course, have momentum for the future. So we're all about winning this football game. Everybody who can play will be out there, and we'll be in it to win it. And, it's bittersweet, obviously, to be eliminated, but we put ourselves in this position, so we just got to go out and play well. We think we've got a good football team and have a chance to win out here.
And then one of the guys who won't be playing today, Quinnen Williams, he had the concussion and then a neck injury added as well. What's the latest on his status? Won't go today, but is there a new injury? What's his status?
No, he cleared protocol. His issue was still that came with the concussion was the neck, stiffness in his neck, and just wasn't able to get that right in time to play for today, but feel like he'll be ready to go Thursday.
And then one of the guys who do get back today is Trayvon Diggs. Brian Schottenheimer and you at the front office had mentioned they wanted to see consistency and good weeks of practice from him. What did you see this week that gets him on the field tonight?
Well, Schotty likes to refer to the standard. He hit the standard this week. He made all the meetings. He made all his rehab work and just had really good practices, was dialed in, and, feel like he's ready to have a big game for us today.
And then going back to what you said earlier about momentum, Brian Schottenheimer's a momentum guy. He believes in it. What does momentum look like to you down the stretch here that gives you positive thoughts going into next season?
Well, obviously the offense has played, really, really good at times. We got to protect the ball. At the end of the day, we hadn't done a good job of that. The turnovers kill you in this league. And then, of course, the other thing is just, continue to find our identity on the defensive side of the ball. We obviously hadn't played well enough to win on that side of the ball. We've had games where we played well. I think we're really improving in terms of stopping the run, but we've got to get the explosive plays out of the game as well. We're still getting hit for a lot of explosives on defense, so have to be better there. But those are some of the things we look for. Obviously, more consistency in the kicking game. Love to get Turpin loose down the home stretch for a big return. But those are the things we're looking at to improve upon as we move forward.
Stephen Jones, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Great being on.
What is the best gift you've ever bought somebody?
I just bought my sister tickets to Louis. Who's the dude from One Direction? Louis. I bought her tickets to go see that.
Last year, I gave my whole family the new iPhone. I bought my dad my college jersey, and that meant a lot to him.
It's probably a toss-up between my friendship and my wife's engagement ring.
A car. You bought me a flashlight.
Their watch. My mom's birthday gift, got her a dream car.
Bought my mother one of those red light therapy mats. She was dying for one of those for some time. Got her a nice one.
Oh, how cool is that? I gotta give a little flack to Trent Sieg. He said the engagement ring. You're doubling that as a Christmas present?
Wow. You're gonna get in trouble for that one.
I don't know about that one, dude. What's the best Christmas present you've ever purchased for somebody? I know everybody's doing their last-minute holiday shopping, including myself this week.
You got a bunch of them.
Dude, I got a lot to go and get over the course of the week. What was the best one?
My dad's birthday falls the day after Christmas, so it was kind of a birthday-Christmas combo. I ended up buying him a brand-new car during my time that I was playing.
Wow.
Car's not sponsored, so I'm not mentioning it.
Yeah, don't say that, but that's awesome.
That's great, man.
Here you go. He about to say something.
No. The best gift I ever gave, and it's a late gift, is to my grandkids who started a scholarship fund. Their parents started a scholarship, and I threw that money in there.
Hey,
yes, I don't buy no more presents. All about that money.
All about the cash.
What about that Zay scholarship?
Cowboys pregame live scholarship fund. Yeah, we got a couple kids to pay for. Mine was my grandfather served in the Navy. Good. And when he passed away, they had the flag from his funeral, of course, the veteran funeral. Well, the flag sat in my mom's house for quite some time, just kind of off in the corner, forgotten about for a little bit. She didn't even think I knew where that was. I bought a case with a custom plaque, all sorts of stuff for that flag because I wanted to honor him, but also for my mom to have that to show off.
That's awesome.
So, of course, we had that one as well.
So
that
thoughtful,
one was
Kyle.
really cool. That was a fun one.
Kyle's so thoughtful.
Stop it. All right.
I'm about to cry.
Cowboys, Chargers coming up. One of the things you want to see this week are special teams. You want to see how you can take a step forward. Special teams hasn't played well over these last couple of weeks. What's one way you can tweak it to get better going into Week 16?
Your punt return team has to get better. And it's something that most people don't know much about if you didn't play the game. But the punt return hold up, that means that when you're going to initiate contact, holding those guys up legally at the line of scrimmage so that the best punt returner in the game has room to return the ball. He should not be in the bottom half of returns when you have a Devontae Turpin on your team.
Coverage. Our defense isn't great. We average giving people 40-yard field position. Our coverage teams need to grow up and be better.
The holdup is big. You talk about a guy like Devontae Turpin, who is a weapon as a returner, yet you're 19th in return yards this year. There's something off about that.
Well, Coach Sorensen literally walked into a job where he had a Pro Bowl punter, a Pro Bowl kicker, and a Pro Bowl kick returner.
Two of those three are all pros.
Like, the special teams unit should be at the top of the league.
Got to be better.
Based upon those three specialists right there.
Give me a key matchup to watch for as well, Cowboys and the Chargers going into this matchup.
I think you have to be concerned about Derwin James and where he's at in regards to Jake Ferguson. I believe that this offense is trying to get Jake Ferguson going, and it's going to be very difficult against an athletic big safety / nickelback like Derwin James.
Yeah. How will their defensive line handle our offensive line? I better say, how will our offensive line handle their defensive line? And if we can't run the ball, these guys they're going to throw it, and they got 17 picks up to this point.
Yeah, you've got to win in the trenches and have an opportunity. Mine's going to be Joe Milton against the secondary of the Chargers because I don't want to see Dak Prescott play again. Appreciate you, Dak. I want to see you healthy for 2026. Appreciate everything you've done throughout the year. We'll see what happens in this one. Cowboys Chargers coming up at noon on Fox. Be sure to join us after the game. We're going to have Cowboys OT, Cowboys game night, and the first word presented by Dr. Pepper. For Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, and our entire Dallas Cowboys crew, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We will see you after the game.